red shirt, shades, microphone, bad software with horrible masking. You know what time it is. Welcome everyone to the first video on this channel of 2023. This is Tanveer Side, the Bengal Dragon. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons, as all your support really helps me remain motivated to continue making a variety of different type of videos in this channel as a legally blind YouTube content creator, and through the algorithms would also help this channel grow. Now, I'm not exactly sure how much surveillance or how much you can follow someone on YouTube if you're subscribed to that person in terms of following what channels they comment on or whatnot. But since this morning, if you've been following some of the comments that I've been having in a debate of a particular topic, let me reiterate this. I am not making another video about her or the game that she is in until I get a request in a comment or a direct message or a video or something. Until then, it will only be restricted to comment sections. With that out of the way, today I thought I would do something a bit different. I've been meaning to do this for a while, and I don't know if other YouTubers have done this because I haven't checked, honestly. So, you know what? If I'm the first, so be it. If I'm one in a thousands or one in a few, so be it. I'm going to do something called comparing the Scambait. Here I make just my personal opinion, a comparison between some of the content, selected content of two Scambaiters. Today, I'm going to start with Rinoa Poison and the person she's compared to the most. Moderator, don't pretend like it doesn't happen. Not only scammers, but even people in the comment section have compared her to Kitboga. If it bothers you, that's a different story. That's a you problem. Rinoa Poison versus Kitboga. So I'm going to do this as episode 1, but I will only make further episodes if I get the request for it. If I see that people want me to compare, let's say, Deo versus someone else, or let's say Skeleton Siski versus someone else, let me know what you want me to look at. And if I have the time, because keep in mind, I am a doctoral student, okay? I'm still in college. I'm doing my PhD. I'm going to be busy, but if I have the time, I will get to the requested comparison video. But now, the Rinoa Poison series I have chosen is the series of Max Silverhammer that extends a whopping 22 episodes. Yes, the 22nd episode is not on her channel, or at least I didn't find it on that playlist. The 22nd episode is on Dale's channel, and the video is titled something along the lines of Scammers Beg for Gift Cards in front of their child or in front of their own child or something like that. On one hand, we have Max Silverhammer and family. On the other hand, we have Adam and Alex and friends from Kitboga. Why I took these two? Because these two seem to be the longest Scambaits, apart from Sam the Tubbs Johnson, the longest Scambaits that I have seen on these two channels. And both of them involved keeping the scammer baited for a very long period of time. Scammer or scammers baited for a very, very long period of time. It was an endurance test for the scammers. And I'm very sure to a point it was an endurance test for the scam baiters as well. Let us begin with Rinoa Poison. The positives of the Max Silverhammer saga is that Rinoa Poison managed to keep a scammer baited using basically the same technique for most of her episodes. The Max Silverhammer saga is basically a romance refund scam. Rinoa Poison playing Sherry Hill managed to keep this scammer baited for a very long time. And honestly, watching Rinoa Poison's content, I have concluded that, at least in my opinion, her strongest character is when she's playing a character involved in a romance scam. We saw this with Sherry Hill We saw this with Dhruv Malik. We saw this to an extent with Steve-O. We saw this with the Meatball collection, which I know it did not make Rinoa's top 10, but in terms of absurdity, if there was another list, most entertaining scam call, I am very sure the Meatball collection will make the top 10. If not of Rinoa Poison, then of all scam baiting videos released on YouTube in terms of entertainment content. It went on episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and Rinoa Poison basically introduces annoying characters like Nick, like Julia to an extent, gets to collaborate with people like Deo and a few other people. And then just when things were done, Rinoa Poison baits the scammers and brings them back by the horse race episode where she wins $1.4 million. And she even dabbles a little bit in the realm of competing scammers. She does this in episode 10, which me, honestly, this is one of my favorite episodes where Max starts screaming that he will bite you, you will be a zombie. And he emphasizes the word zombie. I'm like, yes, there is the plot for Resident Evil 9. An old lady with a scammer on a phone went to a bank, and the bank teller turned into a zombie. And now the game involves you being on the phone with a scammer and trying to fight off a biohazard. And on that call, there is another clueless Nigerian scammer, I think, and he has no idea what's going on. Now, it gets to the point where Max actually brings in a female to scam for him because he's just exhausted. The female has a softer approach and it still doesn't work. Obviously, it's not going to work. It's a scam baiting call. Nothing's going to work. But she proved to be a little boring, honestly. Her interaction with Nick was a bit better because she once again tried the romance scam, and the Nick character came out as being basically attracted to the same sex. So that was a nice twist. And towards the very end, we saw the marriage with the target cards. But before that, this is what I liked in the Max Silverhammer saga. Sherry Hill actually traveled to California and found someone else called Max and gave this other Max the gift cards, the money from the bank, the Western Union transfers, and everything. And to see the original Max Silverhammer freak out, it was just amazing. And the final segment with the marriage with the Target gift cards, where Sherry Hill finally read out the Target gift cards with the access code and then threw it off the roof. This close, Max. You were this close. That is some very, very good scam baiting. The negatives, I will say, at one point it got a bit too ridiculous, especially the episode with the father and daughter going into stealth mode with the mayo all over their body. It kind of got a bit too ridiculous, but then again, it was still entertaining. Why it was entertaining is because, and this is a good segue to my next point, because of the level of desperation and degeneracy of Max. Yes, the Max and family were the more desperate and the more degenerate of scammers, that they will literally do anything. This includes even putting their child on the phone to a scam baiter who they think is an old person. That is the Deo episode. If you don't know what the conclusion is to the saga, I highly recommend you watch this Deo episode. I'm going to link to that episode in the description below. Yes, but it was to the point where the scammer will believe anything, that Sherry has plastered all the money onto the walls. Sherry's dad put mayonnaise of the sriracha flavor and he was about to die. Sherry showing up to Walmart and Target when she was clearly told to go to the bank and all that. And then the scammers still stuck around. That was the surprising part. I'm like, these are some very, very naive scammers. I don't think they have scammed before too much in their lives. Another negative I have for the Max Silverhammer saga is that Rinoa did not switch up into too many characters. She had Sherry Hill, she had Julia, she had Nick. Anyone else of prominence, I actually can't remember. However, another positive is that Rinoa Poison got to actually have some good number of collaborations. Yes, there was the FedEx person, I think, in Nick's voice that Rinoa impersonated, but yeah, not too many because Rinoa, she basically extended for the most part the romance scam part of it and got a lot of mileage out of it. The Max Silverhammer saga, it is something I still binge watch. In fact, in the top 10 angriest scammer Rinoa Poison video, I was a bit surprised. I mean, Rinoa, Max handed you this clip. This is one of my favorite clips. Like, you can hear Max gritting his teeth. If you're gonna talk about mail, my angry level, if it is 20, it is going 120. It is going 220. Talk about something else, 320. I'm like, you could have put in Max getting angrier and angrier until his angry level went up to 720. And then you could have put a clip, apologize right now, apologize in front of me. Very, very entertaining. And guys, if you haven't watched it, if you're a fan of scam baiting videos, and if you're okay with just listening, yes, these are all listenable content. I would strongly recommend the Max Silverhammer saga. The Mark saga, yes, I would recommend that as well, but Mark is very mellow for the most part. That's what almost put me to sleep. The Max Silverhammer is a lot more energetic, at least audibly. Now, moving to Kitboga, the king of scam baiting. And by the way, if you haven't seen the latest episode of Kitboga as of this recording, something along the lines of world's dumbest scammer or something like that, this is why I say Boga is king. No one touches Kitboga. If you don't want this spoiled, just skip ahead around 30 seconds when I tell you. But if you don't mind the spoiler, just listen to this part for the next 30 seconds. If you want to skip right now. Kitboga got an old man to go into an adult toy store and talk to the shopkeeper about anal insertion toys worth $35,000. Kitboga got that in his script. I'm like, man, no one touches the king. But getting to Adam and Alex, this was actually a bit older, and this is actually something that evolved from the Gary Jackson episode. Okay, the Gary Jackson episode is the priest, the positives of Adam and Alex. Adam and Alex were more experienced. You can tell they're more experienced because it started off as a lose my job refund scam. Then it evolved into the manager getting involved. Then it turned into an FBI legal trouble refund scam. Then it went back into the lose my job refund scam, where I believe episode 4, Adam is thrown under the bus. It continued that for episode 5. End of episode 5 is where the fun really, really begins. Like episode 3 is also very funny, but episode 5 is where the fun really, really begins. Okay. Episode 6, it takes several turns. Okay. There's competing scam. Okay. There is the secure your money scam that, okay, I'll give you a bank account. You just transfer some money to this bank and it'll be hacker proof. Then it turned into a relationship scam that I'm your grandson teacher. And Kitboga basically said, are you Mrs. Kiki? And Adam like, yes, this is Kiki, ma'am, Kiki. Okay, maybe because I understand Hindi, okay, because I come from that part of the world. Maybe that's why I found episode 6 particularly to be hilarious, because you can hear Adam is really starting to have a mental breakdown, that he is starting to explain to his buddies how absurd the situation is and how much absurdity he has to do in his role playing, in his RP, just for the scam. Because after Adam goes, hey, listen, hey, you. Alex is on the phone. And Alex is saying, I don't know him, madam. I don't know him. I don't know him. I told you 100 times. You can hear in the back, Adam is going like, hello, hello, hello. मैं पूजा बोल रही हूँ. Pooja is basically a very common Indian name. So Adam is basically explaining to his friend, hello, hello, this is Pooja speaking. And then he goes something along the lines of, I did all this, I'm not getting a single cent. And then Adam, he actually steps outside the office. Okay. And then he says something that's combined in Bengali and Hindi. And I speak both languages. Okay. And this is the level of desperation and the level of just insanity that Adam is going through, that he can't even get the languages right. He says the whole thing in two different languages. He says, Dilli mein ghus ke marenge khankir chele ko. Dilli mein ghus ke marenge means I will enter New Delhi and then I will beat you up. Khankir chele ko means you son of a, well, loose woman. Let's just put it that way. In Bengali, Adam got so twisted. It continues. Episode 7, we have a guest appearance. And then it turns into a security scam where Alex goes, Madam, get out of the computer, get out of the room. Your computer is going to blast. Your computer is going to blast. There's too many hackers inside. Your computer is going to blast. Love that part. That there's so many hackers, so many infections, the computer is going to explode. Just make sure to take the Google cards with you when you evacuate the room. Episode 8, where the 24-hour record is broken. Oh my God, it turns into an emotional, I won't say blackmail, but emotional justice scam, where Adam once again pretends to call in as Google, calls in as Alyssa, gets the voice wrong. Kitboga cuts the call on him. Adam calls back and says, I'm not your servant, okay? I'm not your servant. How dare you to hang up the call? I'm explaining you something and you hang up the call. Episode 9, it turns into an airline plane ticket scam. Episode 10, it devolves into a donation scam. In the Kitboga series, Adam and Alex tried everything possible, and Kitboga kept up with it. Yes, there were a few moments where he messed up, where he almost gave it away. But Adam and Alex, they tried so hard, but did not end up with anything. And you saw by episode 5, episode 6, episode 7, Adam and Alex wanted to give up. Kitboga, with his psychological genius, counter social engineering. I don't say social reverse engineering, because reverse engineering is implying that you are unmaking something that was already engineered. Social counter engineering implies that the social engineering is happening in the opposite direction, where the scambaiter is actually social engineering the situation and the scammers are unaware. Kitboga does this again and again and again, and the scammers keep falling for it. It keeps them baited again and again. I'll give you an example of this. In episode 7, just watch how the episode opens. Kitboga as Granny Matilda is talking to someone called Jeff, pretending to talk to someone called Jeff. Alex is on the line. Alex warns Matilda that Jeff is a scammer. The line gets cut. And I think Adam also had some angry ramblings there. Okay, they're screaming so loud that you can't hear what they're saying. Like, your bank told you if they ask for gift card, they are a scam. Don't you understand English? Then Matilda calls Alex again. Okay, and then she pretends that Jeff is on her computer. And then it's actually Adam on the computer. And Adam starts writing some swear words. And Adam calls back as Jeff, like, hello, ma'am, this is Jeff, ma'am. The Google Play card, how much do you have? By this time, Alex already convinced Matilda that Jeff is a scammer. So Matilda says, Jeff, I don't want to talk to you. It's fine. You got the 10,000. Now just leave me alone. And then the surprise, Adam like, 10,000? Like, yes, you got the 10,000. Now leave me alone. That little bait, that little thing, Kitboga does throughout the series. Actually, from episode 2 or 3, he keeps doing this. For the most part, it is an extended competing scammer refund scam. Okay? And Kitboga is controlling the narrative pretty much throughout, where the scammers themselves, they change tactic over and over again. Even in episode 5, Kitboga actually calls in as Matilda's grandson just when they were this close to getting Matilda's email ID. Kitboga comes up with an excuse and cuts the call. And this is why it transitioned into the angry ramblings in episode 5 when Adam went like, "Ye kya pagalpan hai be? Hum apna phone phek denge." Hello? Like, what kind of insanity is this? I swear I'll throw my own phone out. And then you saw episode 6 where Adam calls in as Kiki and even starts singing a song, basically just ad-libbing a song. And then the way Kitboga cuts the call, like, I'm sorry, I think I'm getting a call from the social security scam. And then the way Adam goes, no, that's not social. And then Adam calls back, this is the Department of Justice. You joking with us? I'm like, yes, now Adam is so mad that he demands justice. Hashtag justice for scammers. Those were some of the positives. Just Kitboga staying on top of everything, of the variety of ways the scammers tried to scam Matilda. Even episode 5, one of the scammers calls in as the secretary of Donald Trump. Okay, the then President Donald Trump. And Kitboga still stayed on top of it. The psychological mind games, just astounding. The negatives, yes, there are. As much as I'm a Kitboga fan, that's actually the reason behind the sunglasses. There are a couple of negatives. One, not enough collaborations. Yes, Milton Teapipe won. He showed up in episode 7, but I would have liked to have seen a few more collaborations, with maybe QT Cinderella, maybe bring back Felicia Day one more time, maybe with a few other people that Kitboga has collaborated with. The other negative is that Kitboga got caught. Yes, episode 11, Kitboga got caught. Adam and Alex know who Kitboga is. That is one of the biggest negatives against Kitboga. And this was in 2018 when Kitboga's channel wasn't that big. Rinoa, Poison, or Deo never got caught. In fact, Rinoa Poison never got caught in any of her videos. In fact, I have seen scammers mistake Rinoa Poison for Kitboga. Few times, more than once. I have seen Deo being mistaken for Kitboga, Kittuboga. I have seen Rinoa poison being mistaken for pierogi, scammer payback. The episode is wrecking the scammer's day, and it's towards the end. If you want to have a look, Rinoa poison Deo, they never got caught. Maybe because they're smaller channels, but still, Kitboga got caught in 2018, and which I thought actually put a halt to the Scambait, and this scam would have gone much longer if the scammers did not catch Kitboga. My overall assessment, by God, first of all, guys, Rinoa poison Kitboga, thank you. Thank you so much for such entertaining content that is listenable, that you don't have to necessarily watch. You can actually listen and get the whole picture. And this is why, like, in some of the newer Rinoa Poison videos where she puts a lot of sound effects, it's actually distracting from the listenability of the video. But thank you so much for the content. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a very difficult choice to make. On one hand, Max Silverhammer, his desperation and his degeneracy, it was so evident that Max was actually audibly crying for multiple episodes. On the other hand, Adam and Alex, they tried everything. Adam had a mental breakdown several times. They tried every technique. They tried to call as every company imaginable, government authorities. At the end of episode 4, Adam even tries a religious angle scam bait just after trying a romance scam bait. Okay, go check out the end of episode 4 where Adam said, "Hello, madam, will you go for the date with me? Will you go for the date with me?" And Matilda insists, "You have to say sorry." And Adam, like, "For what?" And then he goes, "Because of you, I lost my job. So God will punish you. God will punish you. You don't worry. Your old lady, God will punish you." They tried everything. And Kid Boga masterfully stayed on top of all of that. Rinoa Poison, she got so much mileage out of one technique. Kid Boga, he tried so many different techniques. He called in as Daniel. He called in as Matilda's son. He impersonated Matilda's son's wife, Matilda's grandson, Bob Loblaw. You name it. I think even Josh was in there as well. Maybe Jeff was in there, but man, how many characters did Kid Boga play? And this is another example of why I say Boga is king. But overall, in terms of entertainment value, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very difficult one. And I will completely understand if someone prefers the other. Because it's one of those situations where there is no wrong answer. That mild realm of subjectivity where both things are very good, but your personal choice and your slight subjective opinion is the deciding factor. And please, other person who I don't consider the winner, know that I am a huge fan of your work. Absolutely huge fan. And I look forward to watching your content every week. But for this one, the winner is Kitboga. By a fraction of a margin, the winner is Kitboga. Solely because of the psychology Kitboga applies and how masterfully every time the scammer wants to be done, he's like Scorpion. He throws the spear. Get over here! Keeps the scammers on for a few more hours. The scammer wants to be done again. Throws the spear. Get over here! Same technique. Prolongs the scammer's misery. Rinoa Poison did this as well. very, very well with Max Silverhammer, but Kitboga applied more psychology and mind games. This is why, by the smallest of margins, the winner is Kitboga. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Who you think between the Adam and Alex series and the Max Silverhammer series you found more entertaining, and who do you want me to compare next in terms of scam baiting content? And by the way, when I mean scam baiting, I mean, not the ones where they go after the scammers and they like, put the cameras in the boxes and whatnot. No, I'm talking about the more listenable stuff like Kitboga, Rinoa Poison, Deo, Skeleton Siski, I believe to an extent, so on and so forth. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons. And there are a lot of videos coming up. Like I said in my previous channel update and the community comment, I am not going to upload anything in terms of copyrighted material until my restriction is lifted somewhere in early March. However, I am going to do a gameplay of a particular game. This embargo does not apply to this. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is your boy Tanveer Saad, the Bengal Dragon, signing out.